Hello! You want to learn how to design a crown in the Zirkonzahn.Modifier? Let me show you how. We begin in the archive with our crown patient already created. If you want to know how I did that, check the link down below in the video description. Our upper and lower jaws scans are already imported, and all we have to do is to create the CAD project. We select Tooth 25 by clicking on it on the right, choose Anatomic Crown as the construction type, and pick our material. The parameters adjust slightly based on your choice. Then select any lower tooth as the antagonist, and we confirm our project on the bottom right. Now we can jump into designing by either double-clicking the project or using Open With in the taskbar. We launch the Zirkonzahn.Modifier software by clicking on the orange icon. The login procedure starts, and we choose our user and the license package we want to use. The software loads up our scans automatically and asks a key question up front. Are the models already aligned? So basically, are they already articulated? Since they're not, we click on No. The alignment window will open up, where we now have the chance to position our models in the articulator. So if we click up here on these three little lines, we can display the group window for this particular view, and we can show the articulator to confirm the model positioning. Now, the software has a very helpful tool, which is the automatic alignment up here on the left. So if we click on it, the software will automatically align our models to the reference planes. We now have the chance to manually move them with the left mouse button, or to rotate them with either these sliders or with Control and left mouse. We also have an additional help, which are the ghost models. They are pre-aligned sets of teeth and show us the positioning of the library teeth in the articulator. We can toggle through the different sizes by right-clicking on the ghost model. Either we choose the ghost models for edentulous cases or the tooth arches for crown and bridge restoration as help for our alignment. With that, we can immediately tell where our library tooth will fall in place. While the library teeth are visible, we can reposition our models a tiny bit to avoid deep intrusions. And another helpful tool is the plaster plane. We can choose from 3 different sizes, and the library teeth, once loaded up, will be scaled accordingly. Once we are happy with our alignment, we can click on Save in the bottom right. Now we jump into the tooth placement mode. First off, how do I navigate the software? It's pretty simple. You just keep the right mouse button pressed to rotate your models. You keep the left and the right mouse button pressed at the same time to move your models without changing their rotation. And you scroll to zoom in on the surface. Then we have the group window down to the right, where you can hide or display your models and also change the transparency. You can do the same with shortcuts combinations of Control, Shift, and the scroll button. So all we have to do now is load up a tooth. You find these up here in the top left by just clicking on the button here. The Heroes Collection library selection will open up. So if we scroll out, we can see that we already have a tooth in position. Now, if we activate the plaster plane down in the lower bar, the tooth will be scaled according to the plaster plane size we have placed previously. Following that, we can toggle through the different libraries and go on the hunt for a shape that we like. So in this case, we're going to go with this pay-in library tooth, and we can just apply our selection down here on the OK button. Now we have the possibility to move our tooth in any given direction by just keeping the left mouse button pressed. If we press Control and left mouse, we can rotate the tooth. And if we press Shift and scroll, we can scale the tooth. We also have the chance to activate the precise movement to the left if we want to do everything a little bit more controlled. So we can either grab one of the axes and move our tooth, or we can grab these wheels and rotate the tooth in any direction we like. Once we are happy with our tooth placement, we have the chance to jump right into modeling since it's located in the same step. So up here is the modeling button, and we can start immediately free-forming our tooth. There are two ways of doing it. There are either the three brushes. Strength, hardness, and the size can be modified to your liking. We can add material with the left mouse button. We can remove material by adding Shift, or we can smooth material with Control and Shift, so we can easily just start removing and smoothing some material. However, I would always advise that you use the teeth parts as much as possible. So teeth parts has this little circle, which we can change in size, and then grab a big chunk of the tooth at once without changing the morphology too much. If you press Control, you can move the area in 90 degrees of the surface direction. And if you press Shift, you move the area in the Z-axis up and down. In this case, it's a very helpful tool to get rid of the big intrusions to the antagonist to avoid cutting away to much of the tooth surface. Then, another quick tip. If you right-click on the model, this drop-down menu will open up, where you can see all the different actions you can perform for this scan. But in this case, we're just going to focus on Show Minimal Thickness. If we click on this, a layer of our value of choice will be created around the model, and we now have the possibility to see the areas where our minimal thickness would affect the tooth. So in this case, we're just going to move the area around the central groove, a little bit up until we are in the green. Now, once that is done, we can close our minimal thickness, and we can start shaping up our tooth a bit more. In this scenario, we want to modify the dimension of the tooth further. So we quickly jump back into placement and scale it approximately with Control and Shift. I am now happy with the dimension and go back into modeling. Once there, I'm going to press Control and push the tooth more towards the prep line so I can get a better understanding how the tooth will later look like and to avoid surprises. Now, once that is done, we're just going to quickly focus on the contact points. You see the red areas? These are direct intrusions to our lower jaw. To define these a bit further, we go down to the right, into the analysis mode. If it's hidden, you can just click up in the taskbar on the Analysis button. It will pop back up. Next, we can toggle from intrusions to distance to show the areas where we might achieve another contact with some minor adjustments to the tooth. So, if we switch back to this, we see that we got another contact. Now, the next step for our tooth will be to perform the adaptations. Here on the left on occlusal, we have the possibilities to either perform a cut static or cut dynamic. We can also put in a distance, so for example, if you want to apply some glaze later on, we can cut it at a certain distance to the antagonist. And we have the interdental, where we can cut the interdental intersections. Now, once we are happy with our tooth positioning and shape, we can click on Next and jump into the Construction Type window. Here, we have all the different modules we can perform for this project. So the modifier in itself is very flexible. Even though we have started as a single crown, we still have the possibility to jump into the partial planner, the mockup module, or just to ignore the tooth altogether and create a bite splint. In this case, however, we will continue with the Dies and Implants module, so we can just click on Next down here. In here, we have the chance to design our margin line. The automatic margin detection is pre-selected, so with 2 clicks, the software will try to find the prep line on its own. Following that, we have the chance to move our points with the left mouse button. We can create new points if we click between the points on the green line. Or we can delete points by just keeping the left mouse button pressed and then pressing the right mouse button. If we are happy with our margin line, we can apply it. The software will check in to confirm that this is actually tooth 25. So we will do just that with the Apply button down here. Following that, we find ourselves in the crown parameters step. First off, I usually always check the insert direction. By clicking up here, we can select our die and fix the insert direction with the button from View right here. Once applied, we have the chance to look at our crown parameters. The cement gap parameters are right here. We can input our preferred values. Clicking with the right mouse on the sliders will always set it back to the standard values. Next are the border parameters. We can change the length and inclination of our crown border. My personal preference is to have the length and horizontal quite low to get a sharp finishing. Last, we have our blockout values and our minimum thickness. The minimum thickness will be put to 0.5. Once our parameters are set, we can click on Next. And now we are once again back in the tooth placement. So we have the chance to either jump back in and load up a new library tooth, or we can start to finalize our crown. Since we have already done that, all we need to do is to adapt our tooth to the margin. We have this little percentage value up here. If we scroll, we can change how much of the tooth will be changed to fit the margin. By clicking on Apply, it will be adapted. To finish off the design, we jump back into modeling and just smooth certain areas around the margin and give it its final shape. We can also display our main scan again to have a last look at the crown we have designed in all its glory. We click Next, and the last step will unfold, where we always have the possibility to shrink our crown if needed. But in this case, we want an anatomic crown, so we will ignore it and click on Finish. The last action we have to perform is to save. The final scene and the ZZN file will be saved in the archive project. So if we jump back to our archive, we can see that we now have a constructed crown, which we can mill, and our final scene. If you want to print your restorations, there's also the possibility to click up here on Save Construction File as an STL, and then your reconstruction will be saved in addition as an STL file. That's it for today. We will upload more modifier instruction videos soon, so make sure to check out our YouTube page. And thanks for watching.